We bring the situation,
You decide. Is it petty?
or is it valid? Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Petty or Valid podcast. We are your hosts, Jan.
Antoine. And man, today's episode is real juicy. What we got, Yon?
All right, let's get into it. So today's story reads, my girlfriend and I have been together for 2 years, and recently she asked for my phone password. I told her I wasn't comfortable sharing it, not because I'm cheating, but because I believe everyone deserves some privacy, even in a committed relationship. Now she's upset and says if I have nothing to hide, giving her my password shouldn't be a problem. I feel like she's turning a boundary into a trust issue. She thinks refusing is a red flag. I think trust shouldn't require full access to someone's phone. Am I wrong for not wanting to share my password?
Woo! Um, and I got to vote on this one. Man, I feel like I'm in the hot seat. Like
You are.
this is crazy. I feel like I got to represent the bros and the brethren the correct way. You know what I'm saying?
Let's see what you
Um,
got.
yeah, I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try my best. So, I think he said that there's a difference between, boundaries and what was it?
He believes everyone deserves privacy. But he feel like she's turning a boundary into a trust issue.
Okay, I got you.
That's good stuff.
So that is really good stuff. He feels as if she's here's my you know my thing in life. There's always a why, right? So I would like to know what's the root to her curiosity. What's the root to this request, right? What triggered I would like to share passwords, and I would like to know if he has her passwords. Like, has she offered her passwords? I think she's requesting something, and I think for him, it may be a sense of, wait, do you not trust me? Because I think the way she went about it, I feel like she should have, and just from my perspective, I feel like maybe she could have offered hers and gave him access to her. You know what I'm saying? To her.
Mm.
And I'm only saying that because then it shows it'll show a more maybe it'll show more of a pure intent to say that it's not about a trust issue. It's just but it is about trust. Am I making sense? It's about us. What's the word I'm looking for? Like I think trust happens on both sides.
Right, right, absolutely.
Being like, I have to trust you with my password, and I also have to trust myself with your password. You see what I'm saying? And you have to trust me with your password. So I feel like there's a three layer. Um, but personally,
Hmm.
if we're serious, if we're committed, if we're tapped in, I think naturally the password thing is going to happen. Like, I think
Right.
naturally, without making a request, if I have to access something and you got your hands are full, 9 times out of 10, you're going to say, vocalize, here's my password. You
Right,
know, you know what I'm saying?
right, right.
So it's like after you've done that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, you almost know the pattern or know the password of your person's phone, but it should not grant you. I don't think that you are I don't think that it's a given. Let me say that. It should be a privilege, and so I could see his position, but if I had to ask whether or not what was the question that he asked in the end?
He says it's basically, is he petty for not wanting to share his password? Or is he valid?
I th- I think I think he's
Dun, 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 dun.
I think he's valid.
Okay.
I think that that's his personal property. I think that if that's a boundary of his, cool. I think if there's something to discover, I don't think you need a password or access to a phone to discover it. Just my thoughts.
Okay.
I think that anything that's done, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
is gonna come to the light. Um, if it's something that is consistently and repetitively done, I think that if God wants it to come forth, then it'll come forth. Just
Absolutely.
my thoughts. You know what I mean?
So for me, I agree with most of what you said. Before I get to if I think it's petty or valid, what I'm gonna say here is this, right? So you get in a relationship with someone, um, and for me, how I treat people, I'll trust you until you give me a reason not to trust you, right?
Okay.
And so I think here, I'm gonna go ahead and say I think that he's petty.
Mm.
Yeah, kinda. But I'm gonna say that he's petty, and I'm gonna say this because you give her the password and then you communicate your boundaries. Hey, you want this password, you know, she doesn't think that I'm cheating. You don't think I'm cheating or anything like that. You want the password, okay. I'll give you this password, but let me go ahead and let you know my boundaries. Going through my phone without permission is a boundary. Um whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? When she oversteps that boundary, now we have another problem. You get what I'm saying? So now the password changes
Hmm.
and you don't get access to it
Okay.
because you overstepped the boundary. But I do think, instead of being in just going back and forth about the password situation, because it does look like if you're not cheating, if you have nothing to hide, it just it looks like you have something to hide. And so if maybe I were in that position, I'd probably just go ahead and say, okay, here's the passcode. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to show you that. I want to let you know and you to feel comfortable with, I have nothing to hide, basically. But
Okay.
I don't know, y'all.
Okay. So I can agree with I understand your perspective, and I can agree with your response um and your angle. Here's where I think there's a thin line and a blurred line for me, and where we slightly disagree. I think things when you're talking about getting the keys and gaining access to what's privately mine, right? I think that that's something that should be offered, not requested. You shouldn't ask me for a key to my apartment. You shouldn't ask me for a key to my car. You shouldn't ask me for a key to my safe or the passcode to my safe. You shouldn't ask me for the passcode to my phone. Asking for those things, I think it should be offered. That's why I think that she should have came forth and said to him, "Hey, I'm offering you the password to my phone, etc., just in case you needed to get into it for whatever reasons, etc." And then just maybe he would have done the same and felt just as compelled to say, you know what, I appreciate that, and
Mm.
I want to extend the same to you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so I meant to bring up that point, right? Because people do this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I offer you my passcode or whatever, any password,
Mm-hmm.
we kind of automatically think that, I'm offering you my passcode to my phone, so you should do the same.
Agree.
And there's like this like expectation that because I offered you, you supposed to, offer me.
Mm-hmm.
And that does like, okay, thank you for giving me the code to your phone. Doesn't mean that I have to give you the code to mine. So I just think that would have started a whole nother issue. It's just kind of like, I think that after 2 years, I would go, on to say that that sounds like a serious relationship.
I agree.
After 2 years, and you know,
I agree. However, I 100% agree with you. However, um, and that's why I said maybe, just maybe, he would have offered the same, right? And if not, after some time, I think that that's a conversation to be had. Like, hey, I offered you access because I wanted you to feel, intimately safe. I wanted you to know that there's nothing of me that's off limits. So I want to get down to the root of why you haven't offered the same to me over some time. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I'm talking about a actual extended period of time. 3 months go by, 6 months go by, and you still don't know his password, but he has your password. I do think that that is a red flag at that point, but I don't think that he's warranted to give it to her. Like, it's something that she's entitled to. That's the word I was looking for. And I don't think, vice versa, neither one of them are entitled to having access to what someone deems to be private, etc. Like email addresses, things of that nature. I get it. Email, even passwords to people, laptops or computers. I think it's something that people offer you, and over time it just organically comes. But I don't think it's anything that should be properly requested. I think you offer it, and then if
Okay.
it's not offered back, you have a conversation and try to figure out why they don't feel as comfortable offering that same access to you that you were willing to give to them. You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
give and it
right.
shall be given. Pressed down, shaken together, runneth over.
Okay, you better say that. Okay, so I have a question for you and for everybody. So, please drop your answers in the comments. My question is, do you think there's a such thing as privacy in a relationship? Do you get privacy in a relationship?
Great question. I think that there are boundaries. I think that that is the
Mhm.
safer response.
Okay.
And I think that a boundary is a type of or a category of privacy. And what I mean by that is, like, let's take for instance, they're talking about a phone right now, right? You have a phone. I have never, when I say never, I have never gone through your phone and read your text messages or scrolled up or went through your photos and looked in your albums, and I've never dug deep.
Mhm.
I think so. To answer your question, by default, yes, you do. No one loses privacy when they decide to partner with someone or to connect with someone, etc. It's like business partners or like having employees, because we are intertwined or connected at some degree, doesn't give you permission to go through my entire email,
Right.
and read my Teams messages and my Zoom messages. That is still a boundary. Or either read my personal notes on my computer.
Mhm.
Because you have access to do it doesn't mean that you have permission or that you should feel entitled to do it, because then I feel like that breaks trust at that
Right.
point.
So I somewhat agree with you, but then I'm going to say I think that boundaries and privacy are just completely different. And I personally do think that like in a marriage, I'll say marriage. Okay, let's just say that cuz that's just next level. In a marriage, I do not think that there is a such thing as privacy. I do think that's when boundaries come about. Like, nothing I have going on in my life is private. Now there may be boundaries and there may be things that, like, example, this here. I have the code to your phone, but like you said, how you've never gone through mine, I've never gone through yours. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it's not private. You know what I'm saying? What you have is not necessarily private because I have the access, but I've never abused the access. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, even doctor appointments, you know what I'm saying? There is nothing going on with me, or should not really be anything going on with the person that your spouse shouldn't know about. You get what I'm saying? Now, will I necessarily, some stuff you'd probably be like, yeah, okay, wife, da da da. But it's like, I don't think I should. Privacy to me means keeping something from you. That's how I look at it. So I don't really know, but I mean, I think it's really great when when people can respect their partner and just know, I'm not going through your stuff. Yep, he left his computer up with all kind of stuff on it. I'm not gonna read anything.
Right.
And like you said, it goes back to trust and everything. So
Right. And I think even in that, a decent human being, because I like how you're speaking from an integral position. a decent human being, nine times out of 10, their self response to the question that they would ask themselves is, okay, why won't I go through that stuff? It's not just that I trust them. In my mind, it's that that's her private information. That's her property. That's I'm overstepping boundaries or trespassing, and so to when I think about it like this, and might be going too deep, right? Let's say that you are married to a doctor, you're married to a counselor, you're married to a pastor, you're married to an accountant, you're married to all these different professions. There's things in place that is their personal property, and because you're married to me doesn't mean you get access to that, right? And you should not be reading or should not be having conversations about a certain sector of my life, or a certain conversation I had with a client, or someone that is trusting me with information and things they got going on. So I do think that there's a very thin line again on what is privacy. So even as I'm married, are our personal affairs that we have together, are they private? No. You know what I'm saying? Are there conversations that you have with you're in real estate? Shameless plug, yes, sir. But there are conversations that you have with your clients. Those are private conversations. I don't need to know the I don't need to have access to your brokerage accounts, your brokerage email accounts,
Yeah,
your
but that's not what they talking about here. That's
oh,
just going deep. You know what I'm saying? It's just simple
right.
day to day. Just your phone passcode. Like,
And that's what I
you
mean.
know,
So that's why I say I agree with you, but that's why I say I may be going too deep. But there is a such thing as that does exist, right? I shouldn't let's bring it personal. I shouldn't be reading text messages between you and a family member. You,
that's different. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's private. That's
but I also shouldn't be reading messages between you and your best friend. I shouldn't be reading messages between you and one of our kids. That's
you shouldn't read messages from anybody. You shouldn't even be going through anybody's text messages.
correct.
Don't
So,
go through my text messages. Don't go through my pictures. But you know what I'm saying?
but the reason being though, Jan, is because as a decent human being, we see that as your private, that's your conversation. That's you. I owe you the respect to not feel like I'm entitled to know all of that because I'm married to you. And
Right.
so with a person like him, the question is, who broke your trust? Where did that maybe go wrong? Or um and then another question is, like you said, because this is the most common, what are you hiding? I don't think it needs to always be what are you hiding, because somebody may be a private person. They may have been like a only child growing up, and all they know is privacy. Or they may be, I may have siblings, and my siblings so nosy and so this and that I have to maintain it's so many different layers to what that means. But to answer the question on a surface level, no, there should be nothing off limits. But when you look at the full circle, there's going to be some areas where you're like, hey, don't dabble in that. Don't dabble in that. Why
That's
did we?
that boundary.
Yeah, you know what I'm
That's the
saying?
boundary. Yep. Yep.
What?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, y'all already know we want to hear from y'all. What do y'all think? Do y'all think he's being petty for not want to give his passcode, or is he valid? Like I said, I'm gonna go with petty. Um,
Yeah, I went with valid. But there's a thin line. Again, we gave context on what we think is private versus boundaries. At the end of the day, at minimum, we got to make sure that we are at least respecting each other's boundaries, however we're phrasing it, putting it together. I think trust is a big component of any thriving relationship. So yeah, like Jan said, drop in the comments what y'all think. Is it petty or valid? It's his request.
yep. And for the sake of your relationship, give her the code. Just keep your phone in your pocket all the time.
Okay. Yeah.
Give her the code. I mean, and then if she start doing the most, like, why can't I hold it? All right, now you doing too. Okay, whatever. But
But
anyways,
but should he have to though? Like, Me
He doesn't
personally,
have to, but for the sake of the relationship, just to show and just to prove, just to give her that, I guess, security that I'm not doing anything wrong. I just want to feel like that's my privacy. Give her the code. But like I said, you trust people until they give you a reason
hmm
not to. And
hmm
that's just how and
so I guess she get the master key to the man cave too. Oh, this episode is
no,
over.
no, 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 no. Now that's different. That's different. That's different.
Nah, just joking, just
Look,
joking.
that's the only privacy, okay? That's your privacy. Yeah.
Nah, for sure. So yeah, let us know in the comments what you think. We look forward to, the next conversation with you guys. And like we always say, remember, don't be petty all your life.
Stay valid.